Hey everyone, welcome back to Code of the Row. In this video, we're going to continue our C++ journey and we'll be exploring two super important topics, which are variables and data types. These are the building blocks of any program you'll write in C++, so let's break it down and walk through it together. So in our int main function, I went ahead and deleted that hello world, and let's talk about variable and data types. So a variable is like a storage box where we keep data, and a data type defines what kind of data the variable can hold. So let's dive into the different types of data we're using here. So let's start in our main function and I'll create something called int age. And I'm going to type an equal sign and set it to 25. So in this line, we're creating a variable named age. And the word int stands for integer, meaning this variable can only store whole numbers such as 25. So age is an integer variable and we've assigned it the value of 25. Anytime you need to store a whole number, you can use int. So an example would be someone's age, a score in a game, number of items in a list, and so on. Next, let's assign a float. And I'll call it something like height, and I'll equate this to 5.9. So here we declare a variable called height, which is a type float. A float is used for decimal numbers, like 5.9. So if you need to store something with a fractional value, like height or temperature, use a float. And now let's create a char or a char variable, which is short for character. And I'll call char grade is equal to A. So this is a variable of type char, which stands for character. A char can hold a single character, which must be enclosed in single quotes. In this case, we're storing the letter A. You can store any single character like letters or symbols in a char variable. And let's store something a little different called a string. So I'll call string name is equal to John. And a string is a sequence of characters used for storing words or sentences. In this case, we're storing the name John inside the variable name. Notice that strings are written with double quotes, unlike characters which use single quotes. So use string whenever you need to store multiple characters like names, sentences, or any text, kind of like in the last video how we put our hello world in these double quotes. And in the next line, I'll create a boolean, and this is actually defined by the keyword bool, and I'll type in is student is equal to true. So a bool data type is short for boolean, and this type can only hold two values, which are true or false. Here, we set is student, our variable, to true, meaning this person is a student. So booleans are used when you need to store logical values, like true or false, like whether a game is over or whether a user is logged in. So now let's go ahead and actually print these values. Because we have this using namespace std at top, we don't need to write std colon colon in front of all of these values. So let's simply just write something like cout less than sign, and now let's determine what is actually going to go into it. So in double quotes, I'll write name colon and add a space because when we print this out to the console, it's going to include everything inside of these quotes. And then I'll do less than sign. And now after this, I simply just want to put in the variable name that we set to John. So name like so, we'll just go right here. And then I want to end the line and start a new line. And don't forget your semicolon. And if I were to hit save and run this, and by the way, you don't need to type g++ hello world.cpp-o hello world every single time. While you're in your CMD or in your terminal, you can hit the up arrow on your keyboard to go back. So the last thing I typed in was hello world. If I click up again, it'll just type this in and I can just run this again. And then I'll click the down arrow to go one after this, which is our hello world like so, and I can run this. And now it'll print out name colon John. And now what I want you to do is actually just print out the rest of these and feel free to pause the video here. And I'll get back to you in just a second. All right, so hopefully you were able to do it, and if not, feel free to follow the video along till the end. So in the next line, I'm simply just gonna print out the age, and I'll do something like cout age in strings or in double quotes, and then I will grab the variable called age and then end the line here. And it doesn't really matter which order you do this in, as long as you get the point of how to print this out. So we're simply typing in height because the console will just print everything in these double quotes. And then we're going to print out the variable after, which is our height variable, and end the line here. And then I'll do the same for the grade and the is student, like so. And now let's save and then run this program again. And now when I run this program, you'll see that it says name is John, age 25, height 5.9, grade A, is student 1. So now why did it print 1 instead of true? So in C++, when you print a Boolean value using cout, it will display 1 for true and 0 for false by default. That's because under the hood, C++ represents true as 1 and false as 0. If you would rather have it print out true or false instead of 1 or 0, you can add what's called a bool alpha before our isStudent variable. So if I go ahead and type in bool alpha, like so, this bool alpha is used to print true or false instead of 1 or 0. So when I go ahead and run the script, now it's going to say isStudent is true. And as you can see, the program prints the information that we stored in our variables, and that's it for today. We've covered the basics of variables and data types. These are essential concepts that you'll use in almost every program you write. Make sure to practice by declaring your own variables and printing their values to the screen. If this video helped you understand variables and data types, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching Code with Ro. Like, subscribe, comment below what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.